Hello. I'm just going to wait and see if anyone hops on for a moment. Okay. All right. Well, while I'm waiting, if anyone watches the replay, please say hi in the comment section. I'd love to see who all actually watched this. And it'd be really cool to see where you're viewing from. So whether it's a state or a country or however you want to do that, I'd love to just see where everyone is logging in from. For my fellow Americans, happy Thanksgiving. All right, I got one viewer. Hey, Lindsay. So I'm so excited to be here. Hopefully some more people will hop on live. But I'm so thankful that I was asked to be a part of this summit this week. I think this is really cool, and I love the name of the group. I choose Courage Collective. I think this is really awesome. So good job, Lindsay. I like that. I'm really bummed I haven't gotten to watch any of the other speakers yet this week because it's Thanksgiving week, and so my parents are staying with us, and it's a lot of family stuff going on. So it's just been like crazy busy, and I haven't been on the computer much. But I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself, and hopefully some people will hop on here. So my name is Libby Parker. I am a registered dietitian. I specifically help people recover from eating disorders and help them develop a good relationship with food and with their body. So I am all about loving yourself, being able to eat all foods. I think all foods are totally fine and that's part of a healthy diet, so there's nothing off limits. I never put anyone on a diet. I'm trying to make foods more inclusive. So that's my stance. In the section header for this, there's links to more about me and my website, and I have a couple of videos in there as well, so you can check all that out and find me on social media and everything. I'm going to wait a few more minutes to get really started on the topic and just see if anyone else pops on. I know for Americans, they're probably getting busy with Thanksgiving stuff, and in the UK and Europe, it's getting late at night, so people are probably busy, but hopefully you'll watch the replay. So I guess I may as well jump in here. Yeah, I guess we'll just get going. I think Lindsay might be the only one watching this right now. So the topic that I want to speak about today is taking care of your body right where you are. And what I'm meaning by this title is that we don't need to wait to take care of our body, to love ourselves right where we are. You don't have to wait until you lose 5 pounds. You don't need to wait until you get the job or you find your life partner or whatever. You don't have to wait to live your fullest life and to take care of yourself. I think a lot of people get really down on themselves. I really want to talk about the courage to love yourself just as you are, because it's so important. We can't have strong relationships with other people until we've really developed a good relationship with our own self, our own body, and we're okay with this. Our body is the one home that we have forever. We can move houses, we can move across the country or whatever, but we only get one body. We get one shot at this. So we need to take really good care of our earth suit. So I want to talk about that today, and I'm going to leave it kind of general because this is really more supposed to be motivational than instructional. And I think especially for Thanksgiving and people who are struggling with being worried about what their body looks like or feeling judged or worried about eating, this is like a perfect day to do this. So I'm really thankful that this is the day that I get to speak to you all. So let's talk about what it looks like to take care of our body. And when I say take care of our body, there's so many different things that encompass that. And I think kind of where we want to start thinking is, of course, nutrition and fitness. I think that's where a lot of people really want to go with this is, we take care of our body. It needs to be strong and nourished, and absolutely like this. I mean, that's my wheelhouse, right? So I'm a registered dietitian. I'm, a bachelor's and master's degree in nutrition science. I've also been a personal trainer and a group fitness instructor. And so, yeah, I mean, nutrition and fitness are, of course, big parts of taking care of our whole body. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. But there's so many other components to making sure that our body is functioning at its highest level and that we are feeling good about ourselves. And it has nothing to do with what we eat. So things like, are you getting enough sleep? You know what? Sorry, I'm really talking extemporaneously for this speech because I want it to just really come from the heart. So I'm a little all over the place, but where was I going with that? So we need to make sure that you're removing any barriers that we can to self-care. Really, we're looking at all the different aspects of self-care. So are you getting enough sleep? If not, why not? Is it because you're staying up late watching TV? Is it because your kids are waking you up early? Are you, do you have devices in the bedroom and that blue light is keeping you up? Are you drinking alcohol that's keeping you awake at night? Like, there's a lot of different things. Are you super stressed? I mean, stress definitely plays into sleep. Oh, this is great. I'm getting comments. Yay. So yeah, if you guys have questions too, throw them in the comments. So I'm going to talk about a whole bunch of different self-care, and specifically if you have questions about nutrition, throw them in there. But yeah, we want to look at, what are the barriers to all these different health habits. So sleep is one of these things. We want to make sure you're figuring that out. Are you drinking enough water? So for most people, not counting for extra, like if you're sweating a lot from exercise or high heat or something like that, but the average adult, about 8-ounce glasses of water per day is roughly what we need. So about 64 ounces of water. More if you're sweating a lot, or you just feel really thirsty, you can definitely lean on your thirst. Tea counts for this, soup, water-rich fruits and vegetables like watermelon and cucumber and things like that. They all count towards your water quota. So if you're not, a lot of people don't love the taste of water, don't want to drink it plain, you can have tea. You can infuse fruits or vegetables into your water, make some cucumber water or something. It can make it taste good. So many other things. I think a really big one to honoring your body is knowing when it's okay to say no. You are allowed to use no as a complete sentence. And especially if you're spending a lot of time around toxic people, or the areas where you try to volunteer a lot or you get roped into things, it's okay to say no. That is self-care. People pleasing is not something that is going to do a lot for you in the long run, other than make people like you just because you do things for them. They're not liking you just for you if you're doing that. So it's okay to say no, and the people that are going to really like you and be friends with you are going to like you even if you're saying no, because you're respecting yourself and you're commanding respect from other people. If we need to command that respect from others in order to feel that we respect ourselves. And I think that is so, so, so important. Where was I even? Sorry, there's just so many things I want to talk about on this topic, because you are worthy right now, right as you are. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of everything that you want in life right at this moment. You don't need to change. You don't need to get a better job. You don't need to lose weight. You don't need to change this. You don't need to be a better wife or husband or parent or whatever. You are worthy right now because you are a human being. You are worthy of love. You are just worthy right now. Okay? You don't need to change yourself. I want you to just let that sink in for a moment. Like, we can get so down on ourselves, and I think it's so interesting how much, especially for women, but men too, like, we are so self-deprecating. You get a group of women together and they all start saying, oh, my thighs are really big, or I can't believe I just ate that, or oh, I can have this now because I skipped breakfast, or whatever. And it's like, no, you don't need to justify these things. Like, if you're hungry, eat something. If you look a certain way, you don't need to apologize for that or say that you worked out really hard for it. It's okay when you receive a compliment to just say thank you. Like, what a novel idea. Just say thank you and accept the compliment graciously. It actually is going to encourage other people to do the same thing. You don't, someone says, oh, your haircut looks great. You don't say, oh, well, it's doing something nice today, or, you don't have to justify it. You can just say thank you. And so that's just, part of owning yourself, owning your body, and commanding that respect. And I think we're all so worthy of respect. You're also allowed to walk away from bad or difficult situations or triggering situations. So, on an extreme level, if this looks like an abusive relationship or something, of course you have the ability to walk away from this. I know it can be really hard, and a lot of people get stuck into abusive relationships or whatever, but you can get out of there. You can find safe people to be with if you need to, get a restraining order or whatever, but get out of those situations. But on a daily level, this can look, so much smaller. So for the people that are really negative towards you or are having a conversation about something that makes you uncomfortable, you can walk away from this. And ultimately, you don't need to justify that either, or you can make up an excuse to get out of there. You don't have to sit and listen to or contribute to a conversation that you're not feeling comfortable in. I've definitely walked away from conversations. Because I am I have that nutrition background, and I know a lot about what our diets should look like and everything. Everyone wants to talk about food and whatever diet they're on with me, and I've literally walked away from conversations when someone tells me that they're on a diet, or they start going down a road like a party I was at a couple of years ago, some girls were talking about a gluten-free diet, and I'm just like, you know what, I don't need to be part of this, and I just walked away. And it was really funny because a couple days later I ran into the dad of one of those girls, and he said that his daughter was really impressed that I was able to just walk away from that. So you never know who you're inspiring when you're doing these things too. It's really about taking care of yourself and where you need to be in that moment and what's going to make you feel good. Also, since there's a couple people watching now, I know Lindsay's already said hi in the chat, but the rest of you, if you want to say hi in the chat, I just like to see who's watching because I can't tell. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a little insight into what self-care really is. I mean, we think of self-care and we think of, like bubble baths and, getting some chocolate and getting a manicure and all that stuff. And that's wonderful. Like, do that if all that stuff feels good. But you're not going to do that stuff every day because you don't have time or money for a lot of that stuff. Let's be honest. I mean, I definitely don't have time for a bubble bath every day. But just by honoring your body and commanding that respect, that is the ultimate self-care. So you're taking care of yourself physically with proper nutrition, fitness, hygiene, but you're taking care of yourself emotionally by getting out of those bad situations, respecting your body, being worthy right where you are now, being able to say no, accepting a compliment with a simple thank you and no justification. Those are all parts of self-care. And those are things you can do that don't take extra time. They don't take extra money. They are just very simple things, but they're things that a lot of us really struggle with. So I really, if you get nothing else out of this talk, I hope that you can take away that those are forms of self-care, and they are very, very, very important. They are just as important as your nutrition and your fitness and your sleep and everything else, because your mental health is so, so, so important. Also, having good friends and people that you can talk to. So if you don't have a friend or a family member that you can talk to when you're really struggling with things, whether it's you just need to vent to someone or you're actually struggling with something like depression or anxiety or whatever, if you have someone close to you can talk to, awesome. If you don't, or if you need something more, like, don't be afraid to go to therapy. I think everyone can benefit from therapy, and I'm not even a therapist. I'm just like, I want everyone to go to therapy because it's so good to get that outside perspective. And for me, being in therapy, like, it's so nice to have an outsider, someone who has no biases on what I really do, give me permission to make those choices and let me work through things kind of on my own while she facilitates that. So that's another part of self-care, finding those people that are going to help you be your best self. So I want to just kind of wrap this up. It's going to be a short talk, but I want to wrap it up with making sure that you can trust yourself. So here's where I'm going to get a little more into the nutrition aspect of things. And that is really punching down diet culture. So diet culture is anything that is telling us that we are not enough as we are and that we need to somehow change our eating or restrict our intake, either by restricting calories or cutting out certain food groups or things like that. And I'm here to tell you that you do not have to. You have permission to eat anything you want. That is coming from a registered dietitian, a literal nutrition expert. You can eat whatever the heck you want. And I want you to work on trusting your body. If you're someone who has struggled with an eating disorder currently or in the past, or if you have been a chronic dieter or you're on a diet, like you probably haven't trusted your body in a while. And it's something that you can definitely get back to. So when we are born as infants, we are all trusting of our hunger and fullness cues. So if you ever tried to feed a baby, they will let you know when they're hungry and they will not let another drop past their lips when they are full. And we all have that innate ability to keep that going. So that is something I'd like you to start working on getting back to, listening to your body cues. If you fully trust your body to tell you when it's hungry, when it's full, and what it is when we put in those societal expectations of, you can't eat this, or you can only eat at these certain times, or you have to stop eating by this certain time at night, or if you don't look a certain way, then you're not lovable, or whatever. That's when we start really throwing off what our bodies were designed to do. We don't need to cleanse, we don't need to detox. We have a liver and kidneys that are doing that for us just with whatever food we put in our body. Our body wants a variety of foods, so we want to make sure we're eating all the different food groups, all the different colors of the rainbow. We want to get everything in, and it's okay. And processed foods are okay too. It's all good. So when we're truly listening to our body, a lot of people, when they first hear this, freak out, and they're like, oh my gosh, if I just let myself do whatever I want, I'm gonna, sit and eat chocolate cake all day long, or whatever their trigger food is. And you might do that for a day because you haven't done it in a while and you've been restricting it, and you're not trusting yourself. So it's kind of that deprivation driven thing. So when you've deprived yourself of a certain food or a certain food group for a while, when you get access to it again, people tend to binge on that. That's super, super common. But once you've allowed all foods and you're not saying that you can't have something, you actually get very comfortable around those foods and you don't binge on them anymore. You can have a small portion and be satisfied with that and know that you can have more tomorrow or whenever, and you'll be able to move on. So our bodies will crave vegetables. They will crave all different kinds of foods. So really, you don't need to worry that you're just going to eat your chocolate cake all day long every day. Your body will actually ask you for a salad or an apple or whatever. So it will change up. But if we're really listening to our body tells us what it needs. And this is nothing new. I think with the rise of food trackers and apps and knowing our calories and all of our macronutrients and all the different data we can collect, well, that can be really useful for things. It's really thrown us off from what our bodies truly want. Where was I going with this? Sorry, guys. Again, I'm just talking off the top of my head here. But I'm so sorry, I lost my place. Thank you for the love, by the way. Oh my gosh, I've totally lost it. But okay, so before the rise of, calorie counts and knowing all that stuff, like people ate food. We've been eating food since, the beginning of time. And only since the 1990s have food labels with calories and everything been mandated on food packaging. So this is really new information for humans, right? So prior to that, people didn't have calorie information. They didn't have a lot of macronutrient information. They knew that you wanted different components on your plate, that we should be eating different things, but they just ate, like there was no, direct measuring things out, knowing this is 100 calories of this thing and blah, blah, blah. We ate meals, right? So we ate a variety of foods. We knew that we wanted different things, all over the world. Like people eat a staple grain for most countries, that's either bread or rice. of some sort, or tortillas or something. And a lot of people, especially back before, all the fear mongering, there was, everyone was drinking milk like every day. We'd have vegetables, people had vegetable gardens, we would have some sort of protein, and, the protein and the vegetables would be cooked in some sort of fat. And so we're getting all of our different food groups in there. And if we think about just kind of going back to that model of, I want to make sure I'm getting a variety of different foods. And again, I don't have a problem with packaged foods in the least. I love cookies, but the more that we're eating closer to how things grow in the earth, that's definitely good for our bodies. So, whole grains, vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, making sure there's some fat in there, getting our calcium. Like, if you can hit those things, then you've got your nutrient needs pretty much covered. So we want to be doing that on a regular basis. And again, I don't want to make this go on and on, because I really just want this to be encouraging. There's so much information out there. So if you want more information on like what a healthy diet looks like, and kind of debunking some common fad diets, I have a YouTube channel that I do that in a short videos. So I have the links in here as well. So please check out my YouTube videos. I have so many different videos on different topics about various fad diets, healthy eating, eating disorder recovery, all kinds of stuff. So please go check that out. I have a couple linked in here. But really, if the diet that you're looking at is cutting anything out, it's not a good diet. Like, let's just make that the easy thing. And that is kind of the formula for creating a diet. Like, if you're in the bookstore and you're looking at diet books, or you're looking at, magazines or online blogs or something, and they are cutting out a food group, or they are doing, severe restriction of something, or they're saying only eat these foods, or they have a very, very strict meal plan, like every day you're eating these foods and only these foods and you can't veer off of it, that's a bad diet, okay? Food should be flexible. We should not be cutting out entire food groups. The reason that a lot of diets work short term is that they're cutting out something that you would normally eat a lot of. For the most part, that is carbohydrate foods, because people love them because they give us a quick lift. They're easy to digest. Carbohydrates, whether it's bread, cookies, fruit, vegetables, any of that kind of stuff, they actually are the precursor to creating serotonin in our brain, which is the happy neurochemical. So when we're feeling down, we tend to reach for carbohydrate-rich foods, which are giving us that mood lift, as well as being what we need our primary basis of our diet to be carbohydrate. So a lot of diets, especially nowadays, are these like seriously low carb diets, which is causing people to initially lose weight because, well, number one, they're not eating as much because those are our favorite foods, and you can only eat so much steak. And the other thing is, I'm getting like really technical now, so carbohydrates and water molecules actually cling to each other in the body. So carbs are helping us stay hydrated, but when we take away our carbohydrates, the water weight falls off. So that's what's accounting for that initial weight drop in low carb diets. So like Atkins, keto, any of that kind of stuff. We take out the carbohydrates, you see a huge drop in the first couple of days, like 6 pounds in a day or something. That's not fat you're losing, that is water. And as soon as you add a slice of bread back in, you're gonna gain that back because the water is gonna come back and hydrate you again. So bottom line, fad diets don't work. Eat whatever you want. Trust your body. Your body knows what you need. Don't deprive it. Deprivation leads to deprivation-led binges, which no one feels good after. You can trust yourself. You need to honor yourself, respect yourself, command respect from other people, and you're going to do so great. You are so worthy, and I thank you guys so much for listening to this talk. I hope you'll come find me on social media. Say hi. If you're watching the replay, please say hi and where you're from in the chat here. I'll come back and check it out. And I have some links for more education above. So thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving, and I will talk to you all later.